When you founded the company, going on 13 years ago now, or 14 years, I guess it is, it's 2022.
Yeah.
Um, did you bootstrap? Did you take any investment? Tell me about that.
Boy, I'm going to write a book, and my book is going to be called How You Do It Poorly, or What Not to Do, right?
Well, good. We love to hear those stories.
Oh my gosh. So
Want to
yeah,
hear
we,
the
we formed the
mistake.
company. We formed the
Mhm.
company in '08, but we weren't doing anything until about May of '09. So May of '09 is really the kickoff,
Uh-huh.
when we've got a product idea and stuff. And that's right. The market was doing really funny things. If you remember,
Yes,
oh
I
seven,
do.
'08, '09 was very exciting time to be in the business game. I had a good career path before. I was going to start the business with a couple of buddies that were just going to help me. They needed me to run it and do all that stuff, but they wanted to partner. We had a big line of credit with the bank. So me not knowing, I didn't know. You don't know what you don't know, Carol, right?
That's right. It's
So I
blind
said, you
spot.
know what we'll do? We'll spend our own money first. We had about $500,000 in cash, spend our own money first. And then when we need it, we'll use this $2 million line of credit that we have. So we spent our money very quickly. Poof, that 500,000 was gone. And then went to pull on the line. And the banking system was very upside down at that point, right? A lot of banks had failed, Fannie Mae, Fannie Mac. And they're like, well, you don't have that line anymore. And now we didn't have the 500,000 that made them even want to give us a credit line. If we had just started using that credit line immediately and put and take and managed it wisely, we would have
Mhm.
had the $2 million credit line and our own 500,000 sitting in the bank.
Right.
Since we just did it backwards, which logically to me, doesn't the bank want me to spend my money first? No, not really. I mean, not the way it works,
Yeah.
right? You need that
Other
happening in
people's
their bank.
money.
Opium, other people's money. That's right. So so we did have to take some private
Excuse me.
investors, and they were
Mhm.
truly friends and family.
Mhm.
We bootstrapped it, and we built them in the basement of one of our buildings that was never designed for that. Um, and I'd never run a clean tech manufacturing facility before. I'd worked with them
Mhm.
and for them. I'd never run one. So there were a lot of things that I had to
I
learn along
bet.
the way. And you usually learn when you do it wrong, right? You say, this is what I need. You take massive action and you do it. And then pretty quickly you realize that it could have been done better, faster, cheaper, whatever. So now, 12 years of really being in business later,
Right.
I consider myself pretty Jedi at the stuff that's inside my wheelhouse. And
Right.
a big result of that is being in the trenches, doing it, getting the bumps
Right.
and bruises, coming out the other side. And I think the thing that I'm most proud of is, how many businesses make it 3 years? I think it's like half or something, right?
Right.
But how many businesses make it 5 years? It's like
Mhm.
15%.
I know, it's
And then how
amazing.
many businesses make it to 10? It's like
Mhm.
20% of that 15 or whatever, depending on which Google
Yeah.
search you do.
Mhm.
Business is a very hard thing to do. Not that many people can be
Mhm.
successful long term in business. And it's the things that take you out, running out of dough, not having cash flow, really not knowing who your demographic is,
Mhm.
finding your customer. And it's
Mhm.
interesting finding your customer because there's so many places to get news now. When I was growing up, there were three channels:
Right.
ABC, NBC,
That's right.
CBS. Yeah, I was in my like a teenager before Fox even existed, right?
Mhm.
But now today, oh my goodness, Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, Foursquare, TikTok, Snapchat, all these different YouTube, Reddit, forget about it.
Yeah.
And so your different demographic gets their news at a different place.
Right.
And what's the message to your customer? So you could spend a lifetime poorly, delivering the wrong message to a place they're never going to get. So you really have to say, what's the
Mhm.
pain that my customer is solving?
Right.
How do I convince them that I can fix it for them and turn that
Right.
pain into pleasure?
Mhm.
Where do they get their news and what's the message? So I don't know where the heck I was going with this, but that took a long time to sort out. But the minute we figured it out, we made the leap.
Right. How you talk about your customers. How do you find your customers, or do they find you, or both?
Yeah, they find us. So
Interesting.
yeah, it's
By
and I
how
and
like how do they find you? What are they looking for that they find you?
so interestingly, when I first started telling people what I was doing, it's first of all, it's pseudoscience. You're wearing a foil hat and you're nuts. And the second part of that presentation is how many other goofballs like you can be out there. Because your customer is clearly a goofball. You're looking for somebody hiding under their bed in a foil hat. Well, what we began to find out is two things. Number one, a ton of people suffer from EHS, a lot more than you would know. Because it's not something you probably talk to them about it. Bump into at Walmart or church, you ask them that
Mhm.
question. No, And there are really large growing communities that have concerns about the new smart meter. They have concerns about 5G.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
concerns about putting the Wi-Fi thing right by your face while you sleep. Now, we
Right.
learned 20 years ago, you don't want the baby monitored by the baby, do you? No, you don't. We know that now. But for how many years was there a baby monitored by the baby? See, what happens is that thing is always looking for the signal. It's trying to do its job,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But that constant signal is bad for biological.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so they find us, but that wasn't as hard once we knew where to kind of fish for them, where they congregate,
Hmm.
um, and who really our demographic is. But for the most part, they find us. And so nowadays, we do search engine optimization and
Hmm.
keyword and,
Hmm.
do the Google ad spend and all that. And that's a big part of it. Another part of it, and I don't want to rabbit trail on you a lot, is, if you're going to have somebody standing at your breaker panel with a screwdriver,
Hmm.
that's a pretty big leap from just being interested in something, right?
Yeah.
We have a third party person standing with a screwdriver, a technical expert doing something at your breaker panel. Well, solar companies are already having discussions all over America, people right now about, clean power, saving money on your electric bill,
Hmm.
standing at your breaker panel
Hmm.
with a screwdriver. And so if we could partner with people who are already there, they're already doing it. They're already going to be standing at our customers' breaker panel. And
Hmm.
solar electricity, unfortunately, and we are the largest solar panel installer in Montana, um, it does make dirty electricity. So it makes direct current, and then we use an inverter to make this alternating current. And just by way of operation, it creates electromagnetic fields, harmonics, and distortion, which are some of the key attributes of dirty electricity. So if we're going to be increasing the
Solar
dirty
does that.
electricity, solar does that.
Oh, darn. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't want you to know
Jet,
that, though.
no, and a lot of people, like a lot of solar companies, they don't know.
Right.
Gosh, they say, well, it's got good power factor. It's got good voltage.
Hmm.
It must be fine. They're not looking for EMF, not because they're evil. It's not on their radar,
Right. No,
right?
living in a
It's the
blind
ham
spot.
radio guy that cares
Right.
about it, right? It's the
Yep. Yep. Yep.
audiophile or the person who's sick. So we
Hmm.
started going out and saying, look, let us just show you on some meters, solar turned off, solar turned on. Wah! Solar turned
Hmm.
off, solar turned on, and getting some awareness and then some buy-in.
Hmm.
And then it was mom and pop solar companies, and we're moving, 50, 100 units a month, and we've got some traction, and we're a business, and we're profitable. That took
Hmm.
a long time, Carol. That was harder than heck, right? Think about giving up a lot.
Yeah.
Um, but then they started realizing that the solar actually produced better. Everything wants to be clean. The
Hmm.
inverter wants to be cool. Your air
Hmm.
conditioner wants to be cool. It wants to be happy. Your
Right.
phone doesn't want to charge slow and hot. It wants to
Hmm.
charge cold and fast. And you know what I'm talking about. Every 21 times you charge your phone, it gets hotter than blue blazes. Why? It didn't the last 19 times. You don't have to be an electrical engineer to just go, that doesn't seem good,
Right.
right? Hey, why is the
Yeah.
back of my fridge so hot?
Exactly right.
Why is the back of my freezer so hot? You're a reasonable, intelligent person says, that doesn't seem okay. That's the stuff. That's the stuff I'm talking about. When your speakers go click or pop, when my mom would vacuum, it'd put lines on the
Yep.
TV,
Yep. Yep.
right?
Yep.
You could hear your sister's blow dryer on your radio. Don't
Right.
tell me you can't. You can. You can hear her blow. Wow, that's the stuff. So it turns out that not only is what we just described harmful to electronics, it's
Hmm.
also harmful to the biological. Since you can't see it, smell it, taste it, it's kind of like carbon monoxide or radon gas. Same
Yes.
things, but
Right.
they also kill you,
Right.
right? And so it's a pollutant that's hard to recognize, but once you know and look for it, it's easy to detect and it's easy to filter it.
Hmm.
Once people caught on that you're actually getting better production out of your solar, you've reduced amps on energy hogs like your air conditioner,
Yep.
and you've taken away this potential health concern, that leap, it's that tipping point where now you're not getting an order for 12 units, you're getting an order for 1,200. And you say, holy crap, how are we going to make these?
Right.
And make them well and ship them on time.
Right. 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 Exactly. Well, and I think that's regardless of what you're making or what you're selling, this is a sort of the age old problem of a founder growing a company, right? Do do you make more and then they sit on a shelf somewhere for God only knows how long? Or do you start hiring more salespeople because you actually need them now? Or do you hire them before you need them and then they're sitting around, they're not making any money and they quit? I mean, it's a balancing act, right? Of
Oh,
knowing when to do all that.
oh, sleepless nights,
Right.
heartburn. Oh, entrepreneurs are underpaid. I don't care what he makes. She makes it. You're underpaid.
Right.
You're never off work. You're always gut sick. You're always anxious. There's always a million to-dos, and there's these things that you're trying to navigate. Do I buy this piece of equipment
Right.
because I might get the order, or do I wait till I get the order and then try to buy the piece of equipment? Do I hire them to scale?
That's
do I
right.
hire
That's
them after?
exactly right.
It is
Every
a
founder's.
balancing act.
That's right.
Oh,
It's an age-old
just
question.
painful.
What do I do as a founder? I mean,
Yeah.
because, if you end up hiring people and making things too soon, you end up losing a lot of money and you may end up losing people, right? It's very
cash flow is
challenging.
everything. So you can't have all your cash now sitting on the shelf in products. You got to use
Right.
that cash often to market. Now,
That's right.
once you use it to market, you got to really hustle now to convert the new cash that's come in into quality finished goods.
Exactly. Carol Schultz here. Thanks for watching this excerpt from Authentically Successful. The conversation doesn't end there. So if you want to hear this episode in full and all my conversations with many other successful founders and CEOs, please visit verticalelevation.com/podcast.